Presidential candidates recording voters in Vegas when they learned about the shooting, including Beto O'Rourke, who calls El Paso home. ABC's Rachel Scott is in Las Vegas with how he and his fellow 2020 contenders are responding to the tragedy.
El Paso is the strongest place in the world.
It was an emotional response from a presidential candidate horrified by yet another mass shooting, this one in the community he calls home. Former Congressman Beto O'Rourke shifting his focus, turning from making a pitch to voters in Las Vegas
when I was on the city council
to comforting families of victims at a hospital in El Paso, joining other candidates in calling out President Trump's rhetoric as they push for stricter gun control.
He is a racist, and he stokes racism in this country.
The President of the United States is condoning white nationalism.
Former Vice President Joe Biden also speaking out against gun violence.
This is a sickness. This is well beyond anything that we should be tolerating.
And Senator Bernie Sanders taking a moment of silence
to keep those families in mind
for victims at his campaign stop.
Whether people are gun owners or non-gun owners, they believe in expanded and universal background checks, ending the gun show loophole, and also banning, in my view, assault weapons.
Other Democratic candidates weighing in too.
Every day we wait, more people are dying all around America, roughly 100 a day.
It's too much, and it is within our grasp to do something about it.
A crowded field finding common ground on what they call an urgent issue.
It is an emergency. Everybody knows it. And now it's up to the American people whether or not we will rise to the occasion.
And all of those presidential candidates here in Las Vegas, a city that unfortunately knows the tragedy of gun violence far too well. The entire Democratic field will be invited back here in the fall for a gun control forum as this community marks the second anniversary of the Las Vegas mass shooting. Dan?
Rachel Scott in Las Vegas. Thank you. Let's bring in ABC's chief White House correspondent, Jonathan Karl, who's going to be hosting this week later this morning. John, good morning. Right now, we're in the middle of an all too familiar macabre dance that we do as a country after these mass shootings, where Democratic politicians come out and call for new legislation on guns, and then essentially nothing happens. So is there any reason to believe that this time could be different?
You know, Dan, I covered day in and day out of the battle after Sandy Hook, and I would never have predicted in the midst of that Congress would end up doing absolutely nothing on this. So it's hard to say that it will change this time, but I've got to tell you there are indications that the political wins on this have changed. If you look at the polling, Dan, just this past May, there was a poll that showed 94% of voters are in favor of universal background checks. 94%, 63% in favor of a ban on assault weapons, on assault-style weapons. So that the atmosphere has changed. And one other thing, if you look at the midterm elections, and this is different, in the midterm elections in 2018, you saw a large number of candidates running explicitly on platforms of strengthening gun laws and winning.
Several of the Democrats who are running for president right now are tying President Trump to these mass shootings. Now, take a listen to what they're saying.
Does any of this fall at the feet of President Donald Trump and his rhetoric that's been growing over the last couple weeks and his alleged racist tweets and other rhetoric?
Yes. We've had a rise in hate crimes every single one of the last 3 years. During an administration where you have a president who's called Mexicans rapists and criminals.
Is it fair, John, to tie the president to this violence?
Well, Dan, whether or not it's fair, he's going to have to answer those questions. The bottom line is this president has had a rhetoric on immigration and on immigrants that has been deeply divisive. And this is going to be something that he is going to have to answer for.
Something we're going to hear a lot about on the campaign trail, no question about it. John Karl, I know you're going to be talking about it a lot this morning. As a reminder, John has a big show. He's going to go one-on-one with the acting White House Chief of Staff, Mick Mulvaney. That's coming up on This Week right here on ABC. John, thank you again.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.